Define a lambda expression that raises an exception. How can I write a lambda expression that's equivalent to? The following is not allowed.
There is more than one way to skin a python. Lambdas accept statements. Since raise x is a statement, you could write a general-purpose raiser. But if your goal is to avoid a def, this obviously doesn't cut it. It does, however, allow you to conditionally raise exceptions, e.g. Alternatively, you can raise an exception without defining a named function. All you need is a strong stomach, and 2.x for the given code. And a Python 3 strong stomach solution. Thanks at Warren Spencer for pointing out a very simple answer if you don't care which exception is raised. Y equals lambda column 1 is 0.
How about using exec, a built-in function in Python 3?
Actually, there is a way, but it's very contrived. You can create a code object using the compile built-in function. This allows you to use the raise statement or any other statement for that matter. But it raises another challenge, executing the code object. The usual way would be to use the exec statement, but that leads you back to the original problem, namely that you can't execute statements in a lambda or an eval, for that matter. The solution is a hack. Callables like the result of a lambda statement all have an attribute underscore underscore code underscore underscore which can actually be replaced. So, if you create a callable and replace its underscore underscore code underscore underscore value with the code object from above, you get something that can be evaluated without using statements. Achieving all this, though, results in very obscure code. The compile call creates a code object that raises the exception. The lambda column 0 returns a callable that does nothing but return the value 0. This is used to execute the above code object later. The lambda x, y, z creates a function that calls the underscore underscore setatter underscore underscore method of the first argument with the remaining arguments, and returns the first argument. This is necessary, because underscore setatter underscore self returns none. The map call takes the result of lambda column 0, and using the lambda x, y, z replaces its underscore underscore code underscore underscore object with the result of the compile call. The result of this map operation is a list with one entry, the one returned by lambda x, y, z, which is why we need this lambda. If we would use underscore underscore setatter underscore underscore right away, we would lose the reference to the lambda column 0 object. Finally, the first and only element of the list returned by the map call is executed, resulting in the code object being called, ultimately raising the desired exception. It works, tested in Python 2.6, but it's definitely not pretty. One last note. If you have access to the types module, which would require to use the import statement before your eval, then you can shorten this code down a bit. Using types.function type, you can create a function that will execute the given code object, so you won't need the hack of creating a dummy function with lambda column 0, and replacing the value of its underscore underscore for attribute.
If all you want is a lambda expression that raises an arbitrary exception, you can accomplish this with an illegal expression. For instance, lambda x column 0 will attempt to access the first element in an empty list, which will raise an indexer. Please note, this is a hack, not a feature. Do not use this in any non-code golf code that another human being might see or use.
Ihr Roter Böttcher, Fiskselken Enzyme.